Hey, welcome to ESME's first blab. Yay! If this is your first time hearing about ESME, we're a resource site and a confidential community that supports and empowers solo moms in all aspects of their parenting. And today we're talking about credit with Jeanne Kelly and how a solo mom can kind of keep track of their credit rating and their credit score and make plans for the future. Jeanne Kelly is an author, speaker, and coach who helps people achieve good credit score and understand credit reporting. We love her at ESME, by the way. As the founder of the Kelly Group in 2000 and the author of the 90-Day Credit Challenge, she's a nationally recognized authority on credit, and she's a consultant in credit score improvement. She's appeared on The Today Show, Fox News, The Willis Report, and blogs for Credit.com, HuffPo, MasterCard, MyFICO, and we are really thrilled to have her as a guide and a contributor on ESME.com. We're huge fans of Jeanne. But most importantly, she's a trusted resource and advocate of higher credit scores. And she's your go-to expert for individuals looking to improve their credit, especially solo moms today.
Yeah.
And Jeanne, people can find you also on readyforgoodcredit.com.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
They can find me there and ask any credit questions. There's so many things to talk about with credit.
Awesome. Well, and I feel like people get nervous about it, they get embarrassed. So I like that we're just going to open up the door because people don't want to talk about it. And they hide. You know, it kind of goes in the garbage.
You know, and it happens to all of us. When credit is good, they don't mind talking about it. But when you're having a hard time, you know, you get stressed out when it's financial, of course, and credit being one of those things, and you don't know where to turn. And it's just important to stay positive during the process and to just be aware of what is being reported about you on the credit reports and put a plan together in good times and in bad. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the first question I want to ask is, if I have a joint credit card or joint credit card accounts with my ex, how do I handle them now?
How do you what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
If I have joint credit card accounts with my ex, how do I handle them now?
Yeah, well, the thing is, this is a very big problem because with your credit cards, if you're still married to him, even if you're divorced or if you were never married or whatever it may be, but when it becomes an ex and you're no longer responsible for that debt, you think a divorce decree may be okay and you're not involved with that account anymore, but that's not the case. Your name, unless you take your name off the account, or, you know, which might happen, they may say no because they want both of you. That's why you got the account with both of your incomes. You know, then you have to monitor that account. I mean, my number one thing would be, if you can get your name off, separate the accounts. If you can transfer them, close them. I never say to close accounts because usually healthy credit, you like to keep them open. But when you have an ex involved, you know, just try to separate things as much as possible. Don't just think, again, because, you know, the divorce decree said he has to pay or she has to pay this account. If your name is still on it and that bill gets paid late, then it's still going to be on your credit report showing late. And you, as far as the lender is concerned, doesn't matter what the divorce decree says, you are still responsible for that debt.
Wow, I had no idea. So the companies see you as still, they don't notice, they don't recognize that you're
because when they gave you the account and you were approved, they didn't know, was that a husband? Was it a business partner? Was it a child? You know, so it was on the application, 2 people. Now that has separated, they don't know. And they don't know about the divorce, you know, so you have to take it upon yourself and try to close those accounts so no further damage can be done. And also, it's important when you're getting divorced, look at the accounts that show 0 balances, but you're, you know, not using it, it's paid, but you're still joint. You know, at that point, you want to either take one of the person's name off, or if they won't do that, which would be odd, but maybe they wouldn't, just close the account. You know, you have a lot of people that, let's just say they go into Best Buy and you had that account 3 years ago, it's paid to zero, the ex walks in innocently, says, oh, I want to buy this new appliance or TV, and then they pay it late. It's going to go on your credit report. You thought it was zero. You didn't even think about the account. So it's important to really look over that credit report during a divorce, even if you're divorced, after the divorce, pay attention to it.
Okay, thank you. I bet that's a common mistake. What is the best way to really kind of get the ball rolling? You mentioned the credit report. How would I kind of know everything I need to know?
That's the number one thing. That's my number one rule. Be aware of what's being reported about you, and you can do that. You can get a free copy of your credit report at annualcreditreport.com. So you'll be able to get Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion on that one website. And it's important to look at all three because they don't share information. So you want to look at it, look it over with a highlighter, and see what's on there. Anything that's joint, you know, during this divorce process, you really want to pay attention, highlight it, and make sure you resolve that account. You know?
Okay. Which leads me to another common question from one of our followers. They said, I found some errors on my credit report.
So you have to, there's two ways. You can correct it by the credit report, whichever one it is, contact them, enter a dispute of whatever the problem is. And if it's something with a creditor, like let's say it's a store credit card that's reporting something that's inaccurate, you can also contact them. So you can do it two ways. So, and my tip is keep good notes. You know, it's really important to check, you know, put the date down, have a little binder, and put everything in there regarding your credit, because it's important. If all of a sudden 30 days could go by, you could forget, oh, who did I talk to? I was supposed to get a letter. Everything would be in one place. So get out a notebook, get out your highlighter, order those credit reports, and any problems, deal with the credit bureau and the creditor.
Okay, and so when you say keeping notes, keeping track of who I'm talking to, not only the name of the company, but the actual agent on the phone.
You know, you might as well. I write down the date, I write who I spoke to, you know, what location they're at, if they're saying they're sending me a letter. And then I know, well, in 10 days, if I don't have that letter, let me call back, and then I can follow up. Well, can you transfer me back to this person? If not, they will see the notes in the system, and they can go from there.
Okay, great. How long can this process take up to a year, or is it a few months?
Well, it depends. You know, it depends what the problem is. It could be as fast as within 30 days something can get corrected. But sometimes you have to look through your notes and look through your payment history. Like, let's say an account says it was late, but you know you paid on time. You may have to go back and forth with that creditor, show them a bank statement of when it was taken out. So it can take several months. So that's why you want to be organized. And that's why before getting a new loan, like let's say a mortgage, that's such an important loan because obviously it's a major amount of money. So you want to have the healthiest credit at that time. So definitely at least 3 months before you want to be looking at your credit report. Yeah.
Okay, great. Which great segue again. Does one 30-day late, I guess it's a 30-day late fee or 30-day late, I guess it's just
well,
really hurt
I'm a credit coach, so every late, you know, does hurt your credit. But if it's in the moment, so like let's say right now you paid late in November and here we are in December, that late is going to be dramatic because it's so recent. It could drop your credit score 75 points. So that's dramatic. That's a lot of points. Yeah, as time goes by, that late, you know, let's say 24 months from now, it's not as recent, so it's not going to hurt the score as much. It might bother it 10 points, but every point matters. So that's why it's just so important on paying the bills on time. I've had people miss a $10 minimum store credit card payment thinking, well, it's not a big deal. I always pay the mortgage on time. I always pay my auto loan. Who cares about the $10 store credit card? But that doesn't matter. It's still a recent late. If it's over 30 days and it gets reported, it can damage your credit quite,
Wow. Well, and on the report, it doesn't specify
right,
it's only $10.
not.
Right?
On the credit report, it's just a over 30-day late payment. And then it could be 60-day, 90-day, whatever it may be, but you want to be on top of it. And again, it's really the store credit cards that I have been seeing a lot of my clients that they just don't realize. They're forgetting about it, or they open up a brand new account. They didn't get that first bill, so when it was missed, they didn't even realize it because they forgot they even opened it in the store. So it's really important to be on top of your bills.
Right. Well, I was just thinking when I was shopping yesterday for the holidays, and of course, everywhere you go right now, they're asking, do you want to apply for a credit card, right? So it's like timely with the holidays. So apply just to get that discount, and then you have this little teeny credit card that, like you said, the $10 fee or the $10 payment. So should people be closing the store credit cards like right after the holidays that they may have just applied for?
Yeah, no. I mean, if you did it, the damage is done. In the sense, like healthy credit, it's good to get new accounts. Get the savings, whether it's 15% off that purchase, or you do a balance transfer. The damage is done in the sense that a new credit card, when it hits your credit report, it dings your score a little bit, and it's a new credit inquiry when the application went through, so it's going to drop you a little. It's okay if you're using credit in a healthy way and you have, let's say, an 800 score or 780. It's okay for it to dip down a little for that. But again, it's all about timing, because if you're going for a mortgage, let's say within 6 months, you don't want to be getting any new credit. If anything, you want to be, just lowering any balances, not applying for anything new, because every point will matter. So you don't want new credit cards. But again, it's all about timing. And closing them, no, that doesn't help at all. You know what I mean? Closing the accounts actually could hurt you, because let's say you have 3 store credit cards, you hardly ever use them, but you have those limits available to you. That helps with your ratios when it comes to the credit scoring.
Oh, okay. And would it make it almost suspicious if you closed all your store credit cards at one time? Is there
no red flag, but again, you're not paying most of the time store credit cards. There's no fee to have them. So it's a good thing if you have them, and let's say you've had them for a really long time. You've shopped in a store for the past 15 years and you've had that card. That shows a nice 15-year history with that account. So you really wouldn't want to be closing them. Again, if it's during a divorce, you got a joint on there, different story. So it just depends. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, and another one, we just talked about store credit. What about paying off credit cards or auto loan? If you had to, is it better to pay off your credit cards or your auto loan?
As far as your credit score goes, credit cards. And that's because you would see a bigger increase in your score if you lower revolving debt versus installment. So definitely the credit card, and most times credit card rates are a lot higher than a loan. So having a credit card be, with the higher interest rate, financially that makes sense as well. But again, for the score, I can see someone, let's say they had a $35,000 auto loan they paid off versus $35,000 in credit card debt. I could see someone who pays off the auto loan, their score can go up 1 or 2 points. If they pay off the revolving, because let's say they were maxed out, I could see their score go up 70 points. Dramatic. Wow. That's why I'm saying really important to pay off the revolving first and keep them open after you pay them off.
Well, and as a consumer, I don't think I've ever even thought about them being different, installment or I really have. To me, it's all just part of my debt.
Exactly. And so that's why that is so important during, if you're trying to raise your credit score and you have some money in the savings to pay things down, use it wisely with paying down the credit card debt first. Yeah.
Okay, great. Absolutely. Okay, so now we have another question. She wants to know, okay, I got declined for a credit card, and that's happened to all of us, right? I got declined for a credit card. How can I get new credit?
Okay, so sadly, yes, it does happen. And if it does, then try to go the secured credit card route. And a secured credit card means you can put money in the bank, like, let's just say it could be your credit union or a major credit card company. Let me just say like Bank of America as an example. You can get a secured credit card from them. So let's say it's $500 you put in a savings, they give you a credit card with a limit of $500. So on your credit report, it will not be listed as a secured credit card. It's just listed as a traditional credit card. So that's good. And then you can use it. I always suggest use it one time up to that $500 because it'll report it as the high credit used. Then moving forward, lower it down to 20% or less, and then try to never max it out like that again. But that's how you can start building credit using secured, or store credit cards are easier to get than a traditional major credit card. So depending on that person, if it was a major credit card company, they may want to try a store. And they may only get $100 limit. It doesn't matter what the limit is. It's the ratio. So if it's $100 limit, try to use that card up to, as silly as it sounds, up to $20 or less. So you may only be buying a pair of socks in that store, whatever it may be, but use it, and you'll be, in no time, you can have a fresh start with credit, or rebuild or build credit from the beginning, whatever it may be. But that's how you do it.
Okay. And how many secure credit cards? Like, is it just one?
Yeah, I would do at least two. You want to do two. This way, you want to have more history than just one account on your credit report. So I would start someone off with 2 secure credit cards. Let that go about 6 to 8 months. At that time, then I would tell them to go into a store and get a store credit card. Now that they have 3 credit cards, they're going to have a nice, healthy credit score as time goes by. And this is actually what I did for my daughter. When we were building her credit, first she was on my account as an authorized user, so I could teach her how to use the credit. Then I had to get 2 secured cards, and then traditional, store credit card. And you know what? Her credit score is, she's not even 21, and her score is a 750 something last time we looked at it. Yeah. Wow. So
that's awesome. And is it the same way if you have bad credit? Like if you have bad credit and you want to repair it, you go through the same process?
Yeah, because you will have that negative history weighing it down, but you can always restart. A lot of people think, once I have bad credit, I'm always going to have bad credit. And it's just not the case, And a lot of times the worst thing about it is when they have the bad credit, let's say they had a short sale or a foreclosure, or they had to file bankruptcy, whatever it may be, they don't want to think about credit, but that's when they have to. It's like you have to, in those bad times, start adding new credit onto your new healthy credit on the report. And this way, in 2 years, even if you use the cards 3 times, it still will show 2 years of history if you look, for the future. And then it's better, than doing absolutely nothing. So that's the thing.
Right. Probably common when you're kind of in shock with, I can see it being common for a solo mom, that they're like, I'm in denial.
Yeah, and it happens. Listen, it happened to me, and I got in this industry because of it. But yeah, you really want to, even if you don't want to think about it, you got to do it. You got to think of your future, there's no way I really feel living where we live that we're not going to ever need credit. I think that I'm not going to be able to always buy a car with cash or a home with cash. So because of it, if you use these credit cards as tools to build your credit history, it's just a tool. You're not using it because, I can't afford this, so I'm going to use a credit card. No, I want you to use it as a tool, just to use it to be building. Okay, I have the money in the bank. Let me use my credit card, so when the bill comes in, I have the money to pay it. but I'm showing a history. So when I really need that big ticket item, I'll have that fabulous credit score.
I like the concept of it's a tool. It doesn't have to be something that's a bad thing, you know?
Yeah, credit's great. All those rewards we can get, you know, low interest rates that are out there right now, it's a good thing.
Absolutely. And I'm going off the question script for a second, because you were talking about helping your daughter build her credit. We have all these solo moms and they want to do what's best for their kids. But what age do we start doing that for our kids?
What I did, again, this is what I did, and it's worked nicely for me, for my daughter. At 16, when she was able to drive, and she had, you know, she got her license, so she had a job where she was driving back and forth to the library, I said, okay, now I'm going to start teaching her how to use a credit card, because, you know, I've got it for 2 years before college, so let me try to do it in a healthy way. So I put her on my account as an authorized user. So that meant that that card would go on her credit report, but it was my history. So I picked one account, gave it to her, and told her she could use it for gas, but she'd have to understand when the bill came in, she was responsible for that bill. So every month it would come in, and, you know, and gas adds up, you know, so it was, you know, sometimes it'd be $125 or whatever she charged for gas, but she had the money. She knew, okay, I'm going to use the convenience of the card at the pump and everything else. And so the bill would come in. I'd say, okay, give me this money from your paychecks. Let's mail the check. And so for 2 years, that's how she used it. She carried that credit card around with her. She never even thought about like charging other things that she couldn't afford, because I just kept saying, every month, let's sit down. What did you charge? And really, it was always gas. I think one time I saw a movie ticket. So
wow,
yeah,
that's impressive.
He was afraid. Don't disappoint the credit lady, you know. So no, she did good, and now, you know, like I said, she's in college. She got her own credit cards, and, you know, I've been with her. We still, because she thinks this is the way of life, you know, we look at her credit together, and I'm very impressed that she doesn't max things out. She's a college student. She knows, and it's working out nicely. So that's what. And the nice thing is, obviously, as a parent, I don't want to be supporting her forever. So as long as when she graduates college, now I know if she does get a job, she can apply for an auto loan if she needs one, you know, because she has a healthy credit score. If she needs an apartment, I don't need to go on the lease, because she has a healthy credit report that someone would see it and say that she's financially responsible, you know, as long as the income is there. So there was, you know, reasoning behind it as well. I'm trying to, you know, not have to do all those co-signing as a parent things.
Self-serving, right? Well, and what a great gift to give our kids. So starting at 16, kind of really thinking that way. And I bet she's helping her roommates.
You know, it's so funny. She talks the credit talk. I hear her all the time, and it's funny, but it's like a way of life for her, you know? All I do is talk about credit.
Good parenting. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up soon. I have one more question, I think. I want to try to find a good one. Okay, so this is a great one. You know, you've been staying home, you've been raising the kids, and then all of a sudden you got to deal with, you know, you haven't had your own income. So as a stay-at-home mom, how do I build credit?
So it's almost the same, stay-at-home mom, you know, versus having the no credit at all, starting slow and doing the secure credit cards and doing store credit cards. And the thing is, you have to be on top of it. As I know that, because of course I was a single mom for a long time. My daughter was 1 when I became single mom. And you have to make the time for finances. You know, you don't, there's so many things we juggle, but finances has to be part of it. So you got to put in the credit time, because you're going to be needing it as a solo mom, and it's so important. So the number one thing from the blab today is get your credit report. Don't be afraid, no matter what situation you're in. I've been in bad credit situations during my divorce, and you can get out of it. You know, you got to make a plan by looking at that credit report. And then if you see that you're not going to have any credit or it's bad, that's okay. Start today by focusing and saying, this is part of my financial planning, and I'm going to start, you know, paying off the old bad debt and rebuilding healthy new with secured credit cards or store credit cards, and being aware.
So awareness and a fresh start,
awareness,
right?
And a fresh start is really good. I mean, it's so important. And on the ESME, you know, site, I write every month some credit questions, so something may relate, whether it's, you know, the bad credit, whether you're going to start a small business and you're going to need credit, or, you know, or you've got a kid going to college. There's so much in the credit world. So check out my articles always on the ESME site. It's fabulous. I'm so happy to be part of your team.
Right. Thank you. Okay, great. Yeah. So esme.com is where you can see Jeanne, and you can read her monthly. Actually, I mean, there's more. You have monthly comments and other things. So lots of great resources there. And you can also reach Jeanne at readyforgoodcredit.com. And she's your Twitter. What is your Twitter handle? Credit Scoop. So at Credit Scoop on Twitter, and she has a lot going on and super helpful. Jeanne, thank you so much. I've learned a lot today, and I hope we can do this again.
Thanks for having me.
Happy holidays.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.